There's almost certainly an AI agent running inside your company that you don't even realize what it's doing. And this is not a hypothetical situation. This is something that I've seen over and over again. And it might be just an individual agent that one of your employees started using for themselves. Might be a help desk agent or something like that your team built. And what happens is over time, the scope of what these agents can do, the permissions they have kind of grow and grow. And in some cases, they haven't actually been giving any guardrails. You're not really tracking how much money they're spending or what permissions they have. And every once in a while, you get these horror stories of things like, oh, the agent deleted an entire production database of customer data. This has happened. It's a real story, and these things can be devastating. And it's something that we see every CISO, chief information security officer, or like head of AI keep losing sleep over every night because they don't have a way to wrangle what's happening with AI. How many tokens are they spending? Who has what agents? What are those agents actually able to do? And what are they actually doing? It's kind of a black box. A lot of people don't really realize what this is, but there's a name for it. It's pretty old school and it's been around since the dawn of the internet and IT in general. And it's called shadow IT. And shadow IT is all the softwares, all the apps, all the things that you don't know about that are being used by your people, by your employees inside your company without really your knowledge or any kind of way to track it. The big difference now between how shadow IT used to be and how it is in the agentic age is that the blast radius and the speed for the damage that can be caused is so much greater. Agents move at machine speed. They're literally running on hardware, on bare metal, and they have high-speed internet connections. So they can take action on your behalf at basically the speed of light, and they can do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And so the risks of not having control and visibility into your agentic operations is pretty massive. So if you walked into my office or we were grabbing a cup of coffee tomorrow and you wanted to ask me questions about AI agents in your business, these are some of the things that you should start with. You should be asking who actually created this agent and who's in charge of it. Is there actually a person that this agent's identity can go back to who is responsible for owning what permissions it has? What tools can it actually access? And who owns even those tools? Are they internal tools? Or are they external tools? What different functionality can that agent take actions on with those tools? And the real problem here is that you're going to get different answers for each one of these questions every time you ask right now, because you likely have no systems in place to even gather this data. And that's totally okay. You're just like every other company right now that is trying to figure out what they should do with AI agents and what they should build to help their business. So this is absolutely a huge problem, especially at enterprise. Gartner released a report recently that states that 40% of AI agents and projects related to AI agent deployments inside of companies are failing. The point that they're making isn't that the models aren't smart or that the agents aren't capable and able to do really amazing things and automate really amazing things for us. The real problem is that there are no operational controls built around these agentic systems that you're deploying. And we're really moving from an early stage era of AI agents being for an individual and being built for individuals to AI agents becoming a lot more like cloud infrastructure where they need to be orchestrated and managed in a single place where your company can see and govern all of these agents and all of the agentic workflows from one control plane. And without this, you're just kind of flying blind. And that happens to be most companies today. The solutions to all of this mess are pretty simple, actually. First thing is that every agent needs an identity. You need to know whose agent that is. What person in your organization is actually responsible for that agent. So when there's an issue, you can pick up the phone and say, hey, Alex, I saw you're spending way over budget on tokens. What's going on with your agent? Or, hey, how is your agent permissioned? This agent looks like it's able to do things that maybe we didn't approve of. Second is a record. You really need a audit trail so that you can track everything that it's done, all the tokens that it's spent, every tool that's been called, every prompt that's been sent out, and the responses it got back from the model. and even the decision-making process that the agent went through to complete a certain action. If you have all of this record, then you can make informed decisions to improve your system. And the teams that invest in all of this now are going to be light years ahead because all of this learning in these systems compounds over time. So one of the objections I've heard before and questions I keep getting asked about governance is, won't this create a bunch of red tape and bureaucracy and slow down our AI adoption? We need to move quickly. These systems are super important and we don't want to slow down. And I totally get where you're coming from. The challenge is that if you don't build the correct foundation, you're going to end up doing more harm than good to your business and potentially end up with an agentic system that just doesn't work. That's something you want to avoid if you're going to invest all this time and energy into building these systems. Governance and having the right controls in place allows you to deploy your AI with confidence. And that means as time goes on, you can do less and less building of governance tools and putting these systems in place and more of just shipping agents that are useful to your business. The biggest piece of advice I can give you for building agentic systems inside of your company is that you need to own your intelligence stack. Owning your intelligence stack means that you're using open source software and open source tools to build all of your agentic systems, and that you're able to use any model, not just the frontier closed source models, but also open source models. The reason you need to do this is because if you use open source, that means you control the software, you get to decide where it's deployed, you get to decide where your data lives, you get to decide where all of your alpha, all that knowledge that you're going to put into that agentic system about how to run your business with your customers and your data still remains yours. That way, if one of these frontier labs or a closed source provider decides to change how they are doing their business, how they're running their software, it will impact you far less and you'll be better able to adapt. And obviously, per the whole video here, these systems need to include a way to govern and manage and audit and know whose agent belongs to who, what their identity is. You have to have these things in place and they must be open source, because a year from now, your entire business will be run by agents and you will rely on them very heavily. It's too important to not be able to own your own intelligence stack.